didn't put, where's Patricia? Every time we talk about when it started, she always gets a little nervous because it makes it sound like it was so long. But really, to me, where a lot of folks would look at it as a typical slow, inefficient project, in my mind, as I've come to know this project, it's just the opposite. It's been a real prudent, judicious use of public funds. Going back to the first, I think the first project, or the first phase was estimated, Mary's here, I want to say it was estimated at like 95 million, but they went back and they reviewed and, gee, we don't need all that depth, so they only built it to what they needed at the time, and I want to say it was 35 million, right, something like that. And then the second case was focusing phase 2, the one that you're seeing right now is, we had an authorization for the whole channel, but we looked at what our traffic is and what we expected it to be in the future, and we really focused our attention on essentially Cow Point out to the ocean, thereby trying to make the best use of the funds that we had available. And then again, Colonel Buck, to your credit and your staff, I think it was last year. I know it was last year. The courage, through these projects all have different phases, and when we finally got it ready, we got ready to go. We went out to contract, the bids came back, but again, the courage to say, this doesn't feel right. Let's step back and redo it. That's not common. A lot of people, in my opinion, a lot of government projects just go forward. Well, that's what the cost is. But to your credit and your team, willing to take my abuse and step back and redo the project, and it came out. It's working out just fine. And again, just a tremendous, in my opinion, a tremendous use of public funds. For me personally, this is one of those bucket list kind of things. Hank Soike used to come in when I first got the job. First thing he did is write me a great big folder full of all the negative newspaper articles that have been written about the port. Here, kid, don't let these happen on your watch. But then we talked a lot about this project. It was something that was near and dear to his heart, and something that I came to understand how critical it was for the future of our community to be able to fulfill that vision that they had all those years ago. Again, I don't want to, we've been thanking you guys, but again, as we enter in this last phase of improvements, the federal delegation, Senator Murray's and Cantwell. I would also like to add, well, in addition to Derek Kilmer, the Honorable Norm Dix, who's played a big role here in this project over the years as well. In fact, darn near either on the senator's staff or as a congressman, he was probably around in '76 when it started. As I think about that, and again, I started thinking about all the people over the years that I've worked in the short time I've done with the Corps, and I thought, oh gosh, if I start listing them off, I'm going to forget some people. But really, it was the Corps, both at the district level and the national level. Jeff McKee and his office, to listen to us, sharing the vision that we had, where we're going. We're in transition from a timber-dependent economy to trying to diversify, and fortunately, it all came together at the right time. Colonel Buck, and he didn't introduce Damon Lilly. We have a new civil deputy. I know I met him. He's here someplace. Raise your hand. There he is in the back. Okay. Welcome aboard. You kind of get to coast through. I mean, you get here for all the glory. But congratulations. We'll come up with something for you to work on. One of the key over the last 5 or 6 years of the people I've worked with is Jesse Winkler, who is also a mother and had an ill child, so he wasn't able to make it down. Kim Anderson came on just a couple, 3 years ago. Came back a couple, 3 years ago. And I want to say Chief of Navigation. I always get your titles mixed up, but a critical one. And you already mentioned Leah Wickstrom and Patricia Grasslers. She always keeps us between the lines of what we can say and not say or not supposed to say. We don't always do what she says, but at least she tells us. But other names that kind of popped into my name was, one was Dr. Waller. He was the first one I met on this project when I first came on board. And he's kind of a throwback, I'd say, old school Corps staff member. But I think he did a lot of work, not only with us, but I think within the district and the staff that you had. So I think his footprint is still felt up there. Craig Juckiness, he's been real patient with us, your counsel. He's been really good and patient with us as well. And I'd like to, we had a few, actually one of our customers here was Scene Car Carriers. They're the folks that have been bringing the auto vessels in and out. We've had a meeting the last couple of days. Mr. Jeff Campbell was here, but he's on his way back to New York. But we also have Carl Parker from AGP. Carl, there you are. Carl's representing AGP. They're our our bulk, dry bulk ag shipper out of Terminal 2. And I didn't see if Aaron Leatherman from REG came, I don't think so, or Steve Williams from Cantata, the Westway. But all customers that are critical for them to have these improvements to our channel. We already kind of talked about some of the stakeholders. I would mention that our Grace Harbor pilots, Captain D'Angelo and Captain White, who've also been instrumental in helping us evaluate and prioritize, where and when and what we should be working on in the channel, and I do appreciate that. Staff members and commissioners, Commissioner Pinnock is also here in addition to Commissioner Thompson. Their support's been tremendous, and my staff, I don't know what I do with them. They're just, I had no idea what they were planning until I came down after work yesterday, and they were up here on ladders and pins and cutting things out on the floor. It's just amazing. They never cease to amaze me, and they always exceed my expectations. I know, and it's like I always leave somebody out, but I know Kayla and Marissa have been running around with their heads cut off the last couple days. And Mary will vouch that we didn't get a lot of work done in finance today. They've been preoccupied, but they did an incredible job, and I'm so thankful for all the work that Lisa and Janet, Trish I saw in here, and Tracy, and even Eric. Poor Eric, I don't know how they got him in here. I don't think he has an artistic bone in his body. No, there he's smiling out there. He's not. So.
He makes him taller.
He's tall, huh? There you go. There you go. So with that, we have just a couple of presentations we'd like.